Cartels, please. It's okay, someone has delivered. So we'll sing a bhajan, an easy one, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Daya Koramori. We have that one on there, and you should sit over here, over there somewhere. If you need a chair, use a chair. If you need to sit on the chair, please do so, at least for the talk. So we need French translation for some devotees. Somebody will be translating into French and somewhere in the room, I hope. Let's see.
Maybe
Swami Prabhu is here, I don't know. But they had to sit with the devotees. We will not be able to complete it if we have to have a translate, it has to be simultaneous, basically. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kara Mare Toma Vina Kedoyalo Jagata samsare Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatara Osama Patita Prabhu Na paibe ara Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Prabhu Kripa Bala Kana Kara Ami Bara Dukhi Daya Karo Sitapati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Bole Pai Chaitanya Nitai Aha Swarup Sanatana Uparaguna Patayuga Shigivaha Prabhu Lokanatha Jaya Karo Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Dasa Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jaya Karo More Chaitanya Prabhu Jaya Karo More Toma Vinda Ke Doyalu Jagata Samsare Toma Vinda Ke Doyalu Jagata Samsare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Maybe I made some prayer cartels. They're very clunky. They're not real sweet. They're very rough cartels. I don't know. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Govinda Madhava ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Shri Krishna Das, Kaliya Krishna Das, Tirobhav Mahotsav ki jai, Gaur Premanandi. All glorious to the assembled devotees. All glorious to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glorious to Sri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nevasesha Sanyavari Paschacha Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Anvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshware Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyebhyacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Go Premanandi. Hare Krishna. So, do we have somebody to translate? There are at least one or two, or maybe three or four devotees who cannot follow the English. I think, is that correct? Is there anyone who cannot follow? Can you ask the question in French, because they may not understand the question in English? Okay, two or maybe three. So will there be a kind Vaishnavi who can sit with the wonderful Vaishnavis who don't understand English and make a wonderful translation into wonderful French? Is that possible? Who will do that? Are you busy doing other services?
Yes, but I can do both.
You can do both, my goodness. You're an expert. Ladies are generally more what we call dexterous than men, usually. They're usually more expert at what we call multitasking. Some, not all. Okay, well, thank you. I'd like to thank you all for coming this morning for this festival. Surprise one we were not expecting. It was a last-minute arrangement, almost without my knowledge. I found out third hand, I think, that we were having a yajna this morning. Hare Krishna. Surprise, surprise. We have to be prepared. Actually, the Krishna consciousness movement is a yajna. Yajna means sacrifice, more or less. The very essence of our movement is one of sacrifice. Welcome back, Krishna Charana. Haribo. Are you alone? Oh yeah, also. Hare Krishna. Welcome back. Wonderful to see you, Gopaswami Prabhu. They came all the way from LeBlanc this morning, just to bless us this morning. And thank you so much for coming. We were expecting to have, well, not expecting, I mean, as of this morning, I was of the impression that another devotee would be sitting here for this yajna. But that plan has changed, correct? Lorenzo? Back to Lorenzo, apparently, was aspiring for initiation from His Holiness Hridayananda Maharaj. And they were proposing to participate today, but they've changed it to a later date. Huh? So today we have one dear devotee from, well, originally from
Romania.
You know where that is? Romania. Romania. There's a famous personality from Romania. Do you know him? Never met him, huh? No. We won't get into him then. But Romania is in Eastern Europe, for those who don't know. But this is back to Mihai. who has been living in the United Kingdom for many years. How many years? 8 years. In Scotland and England. And yesterday, day before yesterday, he came here to New Mayapur. He's presently living in Leicester. And the temple president there, Padumna Prabhu, has recommended me, hey Prabhu, for initiation. So he wished to come here to New Mayapur to take this glorious step forward in his spiritual life. And he came with his new wife, Lucinda. Where is she? There she is. Many of you are familiar. Lucinda was here 2 years ago. She came here as a volunteer over 2 years ago and spent a few weeks, months on and off with us over the next few months. 2 years ago, returned to the United Kingdom, to Yorkshire, kept a little touch with Govardhan and 1 or 2 other friends here. And then you went to Scotland, didn't you? Went to Scotland, and is that where you met, in Scotland? She went to Bonnie, Scotland. And Mihai was then residing in Karuna Bhavan, and Lucinda stayed there for a little while, and then later on, Mihai moved down to Leicester, and sure enough, after some time, they felt that they were compatible, and then they got together in Leicester, and well, we hope it will be a happy family. Let's see. Krishna conscious, happy family. Let's hope so. So that, you can say, is another fruit of the wonderful volunteer program here in New Mayapur. And thank you for coming, Lucinda. And Lucinda is teaching in our Avanti school in Leicester. She's a teacher, professional teacher, teaching in our Avanti school in Leicester. It's run by devotees. And who knows in the future what Krishna has in store. Let us see. So today we're having this Nam Yajna, sacrifice to glorify the holy name and to connect us to the Yuga Dharma. The Yajna Sankirtanam Prayir. In this age of Kali that we are knowing or unknowingly in, we are all seeing very vividly the effects of Kali Yuga. It's not difficult to see. I think in the last, I can't say. We've only been in this consciously body world for the last period of time. But we can see a rapid transformation in the sense of materialism. The changing of, we could say, morality, if there's any left, culture, if there's any left, a changing in people's belief systems, what is acceptable and what is not. And it's just the nature of this age, where certain activities which were previously considered to be whatever, sinful even, illicit, immoral, are now norms in society. What to speak of the key feature of Kali Yuga? We may know that this age is, let's say, not marked, but it's basically, this age is an age of degradation, of quarrel, hypocrisy, materialism, and the ages of Kali is especially progresses as gambling, illicit sex, intoxication, and meat eating become more and more prominent. As we may have heard, the age was given accommodation 5,000 years ago by the king named Parikshit, who agreed to allow the age of Kali, or the personality of Kali, to reside in these 4 places. But in the king's kingdom, in Parikshit Maharaj's kingdom, Kali could find nowhere to go. Everything was very well controlled by King Parikshit. Wait a minute, that means I've got nowhere to live in your kingdom. Please give me somewhere. So King Parikshit said, you can reside where there is, what did he say? Yes, this, not just gold, but hoarding. False. And what it means is, where the false monetary system is in place. And that is the predominant way that Kali controls this age. And you can see, at least we can see, in a few years, how this has become more and more prominent. There's no wealth left anymore. It's all controlled on the computer. Totally false money. Totally. It's not even paper anymore. Then it became plastic, and now they're trying to get rid of the plastic. There's nothing left. In the press of a button, you have 0 left. 0. 1 button. There's nothing left, right, on your account. 0. This is Kali, false monetary system. Everyone is implicated in mortgages, in loan repayments, in interest rates, controlled by the system top to bottom. Kali Yuga. Rapid. And the only counteracting, iti shodashakamna, Kali kamasanasanam. The only counteracting effect or process in this age is the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But we can see there's a lot of work to do. Prabhupada writes that he's describing the pastime of King, what was his name? Prachini Barhishat, I think. How he was performing, yes, it was him. How he was performing one yajna, sacrifice after another. This was in a different age. I guess it was in Treta Yuga. He was performing fire yajnas, one after the other. Why? He wasn't doing it because he was cold, or because, he just wanted to impress people. He did it because it was the process for the age of counteracting materialistic diversion, sinful behavior, which was very little in that time, to bring auspiciousness in society, especially in desert areas or places which were not very auspicious. He was performing these yajnas. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, as King Prachini Barhishat was performing sacrifice, and immediately another one would start in another place, one after the other. Srila Prabhupada says that we also, the Hare Krishna members, must perform one sacrifice after the other, non-stop. So the whole world will be, let's say, vibrating with the holy name, and will bring auspiciousness to the world, unity, peace to the world. we can see we have a little way to go. We're not even doing it in our own home, practically speaking. It's a big challenge. Big challenge. We won't get into the consequences of not taking it up, but the consequences of taking it up are very great, especially for the performer. Anyone who takes this yajna to heart is very fortunate. Very, very fortunate. So today, the yajna, the sacrifice, which is beautifully arranged here by Vidura Prabhu, who came all the way from Toulouse yesterday, arriving at 7 o'clock yesterday evening, immediately went on book distribution. Right? Yes. Distributed his first Bhagavad Gita of the year. Hope it's not your last. And then returned to New Mayapur to facilitate, make the arrangements for today's yajna, which will be, our priest today is Paramgati Prabhu. I don't know if he's here, he may be getting ready. And we'd like to thank both of them for the arrangements and the temple management for facilitating the arrangements. Today is always a joyful festival event to remind us of our responsibilities in life. We make our vows or our commitments, and it's good to remind ourselves also. Today there will be a fire yajna, which is meant to impress in the heart. It's called a samskara, means impression. At the moment our heart is full of material impressions, having had millions and billions of experiences in our sojourn in this world, bad and good, happy and distress, different attachments that we've developed, habits, which constantly come up. They're like, not indelible, but almost like indelibly chopped in our consciousness. They keep popping up. So we have to, you can pop them down, but more we have to try to fill that consciousness with other samskaras, other impressions. Not just trying to subdue the material ones. That's a pretty tough task. Never ending almost. What do you think?
It's true.
Oh, Brahmin sage?
I agree.
He agrees. Okay. Difficult task. So that is there, obviously. Difficult. Lord, even Krishna, when he's talking to Arjuna, who said, Krishna, this is really difficult what you're asking me to do here. Control my mind. Are you joking? I can't do that. That was Arjuna. It's more difficult to control than the raging wind. What does Krishna say? Yes, Arjuna. It is indeed difficult to control the mind. But it is possible by practice and detachment. Detachment doesn't mean quite what many people think. It's more a question, we could say, proper association. We all know, I was listening to Shivaram Swami Maharaj yesterday. I can't remember the terminology. The biggest disease on the planet right now is probably unknown to you. What's it called?
Depression.
Well, that's partly a result of this other one. Related. If you watched on Dandavat, there was a little clip of Shivaram Swami, and it's a new disease. Huh? You got it. What's it called?
No more something.
No more something. No more something. You're a doctor, you don't even know it. It's come up after your time.
Mental illness.
Well, it's a result of it. It's not directly not considered. It's this addiction, a total addiction to what we call technology. And particularly, I think what was the percentage of the world? Was it 50% of the world is now addicted? Something like that. 50% of the world addicted to mobile phones and modern technology and everything that goes along with it. And it's a big concern for the medical world and the scientific world, because they know, I say much a concern, but they know the detrimental effects of this. And it's interesting to note that those who create it purposely prevent their own children from getting involved in it. Can you believe it? Because they know how detrimental it can be, especially at young age. Because there's no control. There's no rationality. And people, you can see how it's destroying relationships, as well as filling our hearts with dreadful samskaras, one after the other, as well as the physical and mental effects of such association, the radiation, etc., which just destroys the intelligence. The brain substance of people in Kali Yuga is so bad already. It's so poor. Alpha Medisha, people are so unintelligent already. This is just furthering the effects of Kali. Another Maha introduction of Kali. Very hard to counteract these things. Even we can get completely, and it's not even we, I think probably as much as any we, members of the Hare Krishna movement are pretty much addicts. Pretty much. And everything can be used for a good purpose. But you've got to be very careful, huh? Very careful. It can just take over our consciousness, filling it up with all kinds of, feeding the already existing anarthas or the bad samskaras, impressions in our heart, like anything. Fault-finding, like anything. Fault-finding like anything, isn't it? It's the sole business of certain conditioned souls to engage in this activity and try to convince everyone else to listen to them. What a better form than social media. Expert. Brilliant system, huh? Kali. Fault-finding. Kali. Criticizing. Kali. Be careful. Be very careful. So association is not just sitting at the dinner table and having a social yak-up. It means, are we associating in a way to change our samskaras, or to either keep them or increase the rotten ones? Association is very essential. Detachment means to avoid association which increases these mundane samskaras, or these anarthas in our heart, these unwanted or materialistic pushings within our hearts. But do we have it? Potentially, yes. Practically, maybe not as much as we need. Positive association of associating with devotees to hear and chant about Krishna, to hear and chant about our constitutional position, how we can spread Krishna consciousness, etc. Through kirtan, devotional service in its various limbs, Bhagavat Katha, deity worship. They all create impressions in our heart. And the more, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, the more we associate in the positive way, the more this will counteract and actually evaporate, practically speaking, the negative ones. They can be evaporated. In the fire, if you have a very powerful fire, even metal will melt. Even stone will melt. Divrena bhakti yogena. When our devotion is very strong, I'm sure we could see it, so it'll be a little bit stronger. Even the hardest knots in our hearts, the hardest iron-like heart, can melt. That is a requirement of the Sankirtan Yoga. It has to be burning, as Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj said, like a blazing fire in our mats. It could be a little bit more blazing. We have so many, be careful though, we have such a nice fire alarm system now. If it's too, blazes too much, the system may, boom. Is it sensitive to fired up Sankirtan? Maybe it'd be a good idea. Maybe that would be a test of the Sankirtan. Unless the fire alarm system goes off, our Sankirtan is not fired up enough. Okay? What do you think? Good idea? Yeah. That will be the day. Bum, bum, bum. We're not talking of this fire. We hope that this doesn't set the fire alarm system off, Lo Chan.
Lucky we didn't put any smoke detectors in there.
Nothing in here, huh? Otherwise you might have the whole system going off on the initiation day. It would be the initiation of the fire alarm system as well. Yeah. Okay, so what I like to do today, because we're fat. This is a unique day. I mean, I don't know if Krishna's arranged this or not. He must have done. I have never heard in 51 years almost of following Ekadashi, an Ekadashi or Dwadashi, we should say, like this one. Never heard of it. Have you heard of this before, Gopaswami Prabhu? Paramgati Prabhu said he's never heard of it. I don't know if anyone else has heard of an Ekadashi breakfast at 12:00 what? Huh? 12:05? Ever heard of that before? Never. I don't know where it's coming from. If I noticed that a few weeks ago, someone knows where it's coming from? The calendar. I would have written to the calendar people and say, what's behind this? It's kind of, when something unusual happens, you normally have to explain it, but there's no explanation. It's just suddenly 12:05. Until midnight, right? 12 hours. You've got 12 hours to break fast. Anyway, whatever it is, it is. You're going to have an Ekadashi breakfast, but there's no major rush this morning in that sense. So usually by 9 o'clock, on Dwadashi, and no matter what's going on, the queue is very long. So we're going to read something today. I think it's nice on this occasion. This is a samskara, an impression. The fire yogi is a very important part of that impression in the heart. Just like, I guess, do people still get married? They still have marriages? Yeah? In the church? There's a lot of people who don't. They have contracts. They just do it in an office somewhere. Right? Cheaper. You don't feel so committed. Right? No one else around practically, so how many witnesses much. So it creates an impression in our heart when we go to a church or a temple, or I don't know how the Muslims do it, I guess they have a similar thing. It creates an impression in the heart of the responsibility. You make vows. And you're supposed to keep them, especially in a holy place. Huh? It creates you do it in an office, it's not so serious. When you do it in a holy place, like a church, temple, whatever. It's more serious, huh? You feel more, in front of God, I've made this vow. Huh? Is that right? It's supposed to. And it does. I mean, to some extent, I don't know how much now, but it was very serious before. There's another thing that's changed. When I was a kid, I remember my elder cousin, she was a lady, she was maybe, I don't know how many years older than me. I guess I wasn't so much of a teenager. He was about 21, and she got married. So we're going back now to like 62 maybe. She got married to a man who had got divorced. Previously he'd been married to someone else, got divorced, and she married him. The whole family, and we were not a religious family, the whole family disconnect from her for 5 years. They would not allow her in anyone's house, in our family for 5 years. This is disgusting. You have married a man who's divorced? Nowadays, what can we say? Times have changed for many reasons. But it was previously considered to be unheard of practically. Vow was taken very seriously by one and all. Important thing. And especially initiation vows. If we want to go back to Godhead, if we want to change this world, the more we are sincere, the more serious we are, the more we can help others. This movement is to serve others. It's not just to isolate. Not at all. It's to actually bring happiness to everyone. Is to change the influence of Kali. It states, I don't know which scripture, but when the loud Sankirtan of the holy name is chanted, Kali runs in fear. Powerful. To perform this Sankirtan Yajna. Sankirtan is so important. Jiva Goswami describes that this is the only process which is undisputable in this age, even of the limbs of bhakti. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj described, he said, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not discuss or preach deity worship. He preached congregational chanting as the emperor of all sadhana. He said that if any of our so-called sadhana activities do not help us to develop attraction for congregational chanting, they are an impediment on the path of bhakti, not an aid, an impediment. The congregational chanting of the holy name, he said, is the emperor of all sadhana, and the only sure means of becoming God conscious. Everything else is important, support, but the Yuga Dharma is congregational chanting. Kali Kalera Dharma, Harinama Sankirtanam. The Yuga Dharma. Congregational chanting of the holy name. And this was emphasized by Krishna himself. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a youth, he was particularly manifesting the Yuga Dharma. He was enjoying pastimes of scholarship. He was known as Nimai Pandit, the wrangling scholar, always creating mischief, challenging people, humiliating others in various ways. He was so tricky. But he wasn't, all the devotees were thinking, if only this Nimai could become a devotee. They were so attracted to him, but he wasn't showing much signs of devotion. In one sense, but not like, pure, unalloyed devotion. Until the time was ripe. The Lord decided now the time is ripe. And after his father, Jagannath Mishra, had passed away, Nimai decided that he would go to perform the Shraddha ceremony for his father, Pinda, in Gaya. Now, some of you have been to Gaya, Bodh Gaya, famous amongst the Buddhists. You've been there, Lochan? No? Anyone been to Bodh Gaya? It's not too far from Varanasi. If ever you go there, take a side trip. And there, at that time, there's a very famous temple there, Temple of Lord Vishnu, where the footprints of Lord Vishnu are worshipped there. And people generally go there when their parents, ancestors pass away to perform Pinda ceremony on behalf of their, deceased family members. Like that. It's very famous for that. So Lord Chaitanya decided on the guise, actually had another purpose, but on the guise of, benefiting the benefit, let's say service to his father, he would go there and perform this ceremony. So he did. He left home. He was, at that time, married man. He was married, must have been married by then. And he left home and he went to Gaya. Interesting things took place on the way. He developed a terrible fever, apparently, pastime. And what was the cure for that fever? Pardon? Good suggestion. Something inseparable from Harinam. Even what's the word, prelude? Something before? Huh? Prelude. Yeah, prelude. Something before that. Something essential, in fact, if we really want to perform the Sankirtan Yogya, something else is very important. Lord Chaitanya demonstrated that. He had a fever. What was the cure?
Association of Advaita Acharya.
Excuse me?
Association of Advaita Acharya.
Association of what?
Advaita Acharya.
He wasn't there at the time. He was in Shantipur.
Dust from the feet of Vaishnava.
The water that washed their feet. He wanted to take the foot wash of the Brahmins, not just even the devotees, the Brahmins. What this indicates is that if we really want to move, or let's say, take this process or let's say the process to manifest in our hearts, the secret is service to the Vaishnavas. The water that has washed their feet, the dust of their lotus feet, like this, and the remnants of their foodstuffs. These three items are very powerful. They can be taken literally or in understanding of the meaning of this. It's like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj describes that the secret for chanting the holy names, the key, he said, is service to the Vaishnavas. This is the key. We can chant 100 million rounds a day, you probably can't. But we can chant and chant and chant. But without this mood of Vaishnava Seva, the fruit will not bear fruit. Like treading water. Service to the Vaishnavas. Did it Lord Chaitanya speaking to Satyaraj Khan? And he said that only these two things are all you need. Service to the Vaishnavas and Namaseva. To go back to Godhead. They go together. Serving the Vaishnavas evokes the mercy of the Lord. And His mercy is to clear our paths, so we can chant the holy name without offense. So Lord Chaitanya then proceeded on to Gaya. But his real business in Gaya was not to perform Pinda, some Shraddha ceremony for his father. No. He knew that Ishvara Puri, the great saintly personality, was at that time residing in Gaya. And he had gone there predominantly to take the dust of his feet and beg him for shelter. And sure enough, he took that opportunity of the Sangha of Ishvara Puri and begged him to please initiate him in the path of bhakti. So we're going to take it up now. And later on, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after this incident in Gaya, later on, after Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, he was in Varanasi, the seat of the Mayavad school, impersonalists. And they were a little bit disturbed and concerned that this sannyasi, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, was behaving like a sentimental fool, dancing and chanting. And they said, why you should be studying the Vedanta? This is not the behavior of a sannyasi to dance and chant. When Vishnu Jan took sannyas, not our Vishnu Jan, not yet, the original, when he took sannyas, Prabhupada said, at his sannyas, he said, your duty is to dance and chant and help everyone else to dance and chant. Quite different. But these Mayavad sannyasis were criticizing this. This is foolish sentimentalism for the, ignorant fools. And they challenged him. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied. He explained what his spiritual master had told him in Gaya. When Lord Chaitanya asked for initiation, Ishvara Puri said, his guru said to him, Mukutumi Tumara Nahika Vedanta Dikar Krishna Mantra Japasada E Mantra Sar. He said, you are a fool. He called Lord Chaitanya a fool. Can you imagine? You're a fool. He called him a fool. The Supreme Personality said, you are a fool. You are not qualified to study Vedanta philosophy. And therefore you must always chant the holy name of Krishna. This is the essence of all mantras or Vedic hymns. Essence. Purport. I've taken a little snippet out the purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj comments in this connection, one can become perfectly successful in the mission of his life if he acts exactly according to the words he hears from the mouth of his spiritual master. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks in this connection that a disciple must accept the words of his spiritual master as his life and soul. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here confirms this by saying that since his spiritual master ordered him only to chant the holy name of Krishna, he always chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra according to this direction. Krishna Mantra Japa Sada E Mantra Sar. Only fools give up the service of the spiritual master and think themselves advanced in spiritual knowledge. In order to check such fools, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself presented the perfect example of how to be a disciple. The Lord takes the position of a disciple He showed by example. Jesus also did the same thing. Approaching John the Baptist to get baptized. I mean, he's the source of it, basically, the source of the principle of the whole system of baptism, etc. But he's asking, please baptize me. And John's thinking, who am I to baptize you? You take the dust of your feet. But the Lord takes this role in order to show the example of humility, this role of what it means to be a disciple. It's not just a name or whatever, a ritual. It's a change of heart. A spiritual master knows very well how to engage each disciple in a particular duty. But if a disciple, thinking himself more advanced than his spiritual master, gives up his orders and acts independently, he checks his own spiritual progress. Unless one surpasses the field of activities in service to the limited, one cannot reach the unlimited. We're limited. If we follow our limited impression, then we remain in a limited condition. Those who are addicted to fruitive activities and speculative knowledge cannot understand the value of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which is completely pure, eternally liberated, and full of spiritual bliss. Krishna mantra hoite habe sangsara mochan, Krishna nam hoite pabe Krishnera charan. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. You may go to Gaya and with these conditioned, limited eyes, say, I'm seeing the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, but what can we see? Some impression is there, but not the pure, full impression is not there. But by pure chanting, complete chanting of the holy name, Sankirtan, here Shwarpuri says, you will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. Purport. According to the Vedic principles, there are 3 stages of spiritual advancement. Do you know what they are? 3 stages. What are they? Oh,
sorry.
Oh, ventriloquist. You're a ventriloquist. Okay, you got 2 of them. What's the first one? You got the 3rd one. Great. That's the goal, huh? To reach the 3rd one. We don't start at the end. We start at the beginning. Well, we got to admit that we're at the beginning and not think we're at the end. Yeah, there are 3 stages. Well, that's one thing. But according to the Vedas, there are 3 other ways of looking at this. Differently. It's a different analysis. The Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama are 3 types or levels of devotees. But there are 3 stages of devotional service. What are they? Sambandha and Abhideya and Prayojana, the ultimate goal. So the first is Sambandha. Today is Sambandha Gyan. It means official connecting with the path of devotion. It's already started. The second stage, normally after initiation, one receives one's bhajana kriya. One receives one's direction as to what service one should do in order to progress towards prayojana, or the ultimate goal. But we see in this, especially this age, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj more or less introduced this system of Nam Diksha, which is today, this Hari Nam Diksha, which is a pre-initiation before the Mantra Diksha. Is a new, it never existed before in the form of samskara. It was just you chant Hare Krishna. But he formalized it to impress upon our hearts, we're not so spontaneous, but to impress upon our hearts how important this is. Our vow to chant the holy name of Krishna. And to prepare us for the Mantra Diksha, 4 regulated principles are there. which are normally Brahminical ones. But they're introduced to create this, let's say, mode of goodness, this platform where those who are chanting can really become instrumental in spreading the chanting to others, in purifying the environment, etc., which is so much required. So he introduced this, and Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj introduced a lot of chanting. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this Sambandha Gyan, and then you receive your direction, which is Abhideya. But we're all devotees are already doing that. Mihai is already doing that. Lucinda is already doing that. Chanting Hare Krishna, etc., etc. Following principles. These are preludes before, you could say, mantra diksha, Brahmin initiation. So first we have a period of time is there. Chanting the holy names regularly, etc., sticking to one's vow, and so on. So this is the Abhideya, and of course the goal is not Brahman initiation, that's just another little wheel in our circle to develop Shuddhanam, pure, unalloyed, unmotivated, materially speaking, pure devotional service, chanting purely. If one adheres to the regulated principles, under the order of the spiritual master, he very easily achieves the ultimate goal of his life. A person who is addicted to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra very easily gets the opportunity to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. The essence of all revealed scriptures and all knowledge is present when one addresses the Lord and his energy by the Hare Krishna mantra. For this transcendental vibration can completely liberate a conditioned soul and directly engage him in the service of the Lord. The holy name of the Lord are identical. One who is completely free from the clutches of Maya can understand this fact. This knowledge, which is achieved by the mercy of the spiritual master, places one on the supreme transcendental platform. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented himself as a fool because prior to accepting the shelter of a spiritual master, he could not understand that simply by chanting one can be relieved from all material conditions. But as soon as he became a faithful servant of his spiritual master and followed his instructions, he very easily saw the path of liberation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra must be understood to be devoid of all offenses. The 10 offenses against the holy name of the Lord are as follows. Number 1, very good.
To blaspheme the devotees.
That's the first offense against the holy name. It involves criticisms, fault findings, gossiping, so many, what we can say, unwanted or unfavorable tendencies. Gossiping. So much gossip. So the first one, blasphemy, is a very heavy terminology, but it does include these other, you could say, less extreme forms of negativity towards the devotees. To consider, number 2. What's number 2?
Lord Vishnu.
Again?
To consider the name of the demigods equal to Lord Vishnu.
Yeah. To consider the Lord and the demigods is a little differently worded, Prabhupada gives here. To consider them on the same level. It's actually Mayavad philosophy, this second one. And to think there are many gods. We get many times we get accosted by people on the street. You believe in many gods. You Hare Krishnas believe in many gods. No matter what you say, they don't believe you. You only believe in one God. But your God's not my God. It's different. They can't understand how God can have more than one nature or one name or one form. God is limited to this one? No, he's not. But that doesn't mean that everyone's God. We may be a part of his energy, you could say. But there's a difference. He's the object of worship. We're the worshipper. He's the enjoyer. We are meant, Prakriti, we're meant to be enjoyed by him. We also share in his enjoyment. But we're subservient. He's the master. He's the Purush. We're Prakriti. And as Purush, he can do anything he likes. We can't limit him to a particular time, place, and circumstance. But we can't be replaced by this false Mayavad philosophy that everyone's God or there is no God. 3, what's the third one? To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. We've already been hearing about that and the effect of that. The fourth one. Excuse me? Yeah, it's worded differently here. To minimize the authority of scriptures. This is Prabhupada's purport. To minimize the authority of scriptures by replacing it with our own interpretation, maybe our own scripture, changing it, denying other scriptures in different time, place, and circumstances, belittling them, even blaspheming them. A godless approach. They're given by the Lord. Dharmam tu sakshad bhagavat panitam. Fifth one. To
consider the holy name. To give an interpretation of the holy name.
Funnily enough, you got it right there. Normally the fifth one is to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna as imagination. You have to learn these carefully. That's normally the fifth one. But here Prabhupada writes the fifth one, to interpret the holy name of God. There's, again, somebody's like, no, the fifth one. It's not quite like that. In the Padma Purana, it gives the list of the various offences against the name. And they're numbered for obvious reasons, but they're not hard and fast, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In different places you see the order different. So here, to interpret the holy name of God, we hear from Guru, Shastra and Sadhu what the meaning of the Nam is. We already heard about that, how the name is non-different than Krishna. Not that it is some, some interpretation that someone has, it means this and that. No, it is God himself. And here the order is different. I'll read it what it says here. To commit sins, number 6, on the strength of chanting. Common one amongst many. We think that we can just nullify our sinful reactions by just God forgive me or Hare Krishna or something. Okay, you might find that works, but that doesn't really work because it doesn't change the tendency. It doesn't change our nature or the tendency to commit sins. That is where the root has to be dealt with. Not just the surface. One has to remove at the root the very tendency or inclination to perform these activities. The 7th one here is described as to instruct the glories of the Lord's name to the unfaithful. Normally that's the 9th one, huh? But it's a different order. See, this is Prabhupada's own purport. You'll find it in this book here. This is a unique volume. You've seen it probably. But this is Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, Volume 2. And believe it or not, this was printed before Volume 1. It was printed before any other volumes of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada had this printed. And in fact, in this volume, which starts on chapter 7, which is what I've been reading from, Prabhupada had this printed in a small book. Well, remember what that was called, that little book? Lord Chaitanya in 5 features. Small pocket book the size of Isopanishad. Yeah, that was printed before the Chaitanya Charitamrita, because Srila Prabhupada considered this chapter, which we are reading, the most important, essential chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chapter 7, Adi Lila. Yeah, we were happily distributing those books. Little book. So to instruct the glories of the Lord's name to the unfaithful, Prabhupada described this as meaning, very interesting. He said, this means we do not give initiation to someone who's not sincerely following. That was his comment on this offense. Interesting. It can mean externally many things. 8, to compare the chanting of the holy name with material piety. The holy name is not another, mantra so that I can get what I want in this material world. Huh? A nice house. Of course, you could say, use it for Krishna. But that's not our intention, is to serve Krishna, not to get a nice house, or a car, or go to heaven. Yes, if I chant Hare Krishna, why am I not getting all my material desires fulfilled? That's not the goal. Number 9, and here it's very interesting, because Prabhupada does include one which we don't normally include, to be inattentive while chanting the holy name. Inattention. Pramada. This means madness, but it also means inattention. And I don't know, what do you think? Do you think we have an inclination to be inattentive? Does anyone here have a problem with that? Inattention while chanting? Sometimes? Always. Who said that? Oh, that one. Okay, we got it. We're very regulated. Yes, I chant regularly, inattentively. Every day. 16 regular inattentive rounds. It's so common, huh? Inattentiveness. It's so amazing. And why? Because of all of these samskaras, all of which we're still attached to, whether they're gross, subtle, or tendencies, impressions, speculations, call them what you will, which permeate our consciousness. The other offenses are just basically lined up behind this one. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that if one is inattentive in chanting, then the other offenses, naturally they're going to sprout. Inattentive chanting allows them to sprout. It also sows, he says, inattentive chanting sows the seeds of all anarthas. The seeds are there, but they won't be sown. But if your chanting is of course we're making an effort, so don't get negative, too negative. If we're making a sincere effort, that's different. But if we're not making any effort whatsoever, there's a good chance we were watering away there, we're going to be watering the weeds instead of the bhakti creeper. Be very careful. The attentive, endeavor to be attentive, endeavor to hear the holy name. To pray for that. Back to Haridas Thakur's prayer. He prayed, my Lord, when I chant the holy name, please, I pray that, I can be free of these offenses and I can be always absorbed in the nectar of chanting your holy name. Even he's praying like that. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj said, Bhakti Vinod. It is impossible for the jiva to single-handedly overcome the anartha, or the offense of inattention. Impossible. It is only possible by the mercy of the Lord. Therefore, one should fervently pray for the Lord's mercy. There is no other way, he said, other than that. By the mercy of the Lord, and that mercy is obtained when we develop this humble, submissive attitude to the Vaishnavas. 10. To be attached to material things in spite of chanting the holy name. That sounds very simple there, isn't it? And that's the 10 offenses mentioned here. by Srila Prabhupada. Be attached to material things in spite. In other words, we're still attached in our hearts. We're not attached to chanting. We haven't grasped the essence yet. I'll just read a little bit more and then we'll finish. In this age of Kali, Ishvara Puri carries on, there is no religious principle other than the chanting of the holy name, which is the essence of all Vedic hymns. This is the purport of all scriptures. I'll miss the purport. And then 2 more verses. After describing the potency of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, my spiritual master taught me another verse, advising me to always keep it within my throat. So this is Lord Chaitanya now speaking to the Mayavadi sannyasis in Varanasi. And what verse did he say? The verse which Ishvara Puri taught Lord Chaitanya? Pardon? No, that came from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. From Ishvara Puri came a famous verse, probably the most in preaching the holy name, probably the most emphasized verse. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, kalo nasteva, 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 gatiranyata. Please repeat.
Harinama, Harinama.
You are nervous, aren't you? He's feeling a bit nervous. Nervous? A little bit nervous. Please give blessings. In about a week or two's time, Mihai has to go to hospital for an operation. So he's asking everyone's blessings for this operation will be successful. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, kalo nasteva, 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 gatiranyata. What does it mean? Yeah, a bit here, a bit there, a bit everywhere. Chant, Kali, only.
In the age of Kali, only we have to let everyone just chanting the holy name. There's no other way.
For spiritual progress in the age of Kali, there is no alternative. There is no alternative. There is no alternative to the. There's no alternative to the holy name. There is no other alternative. The only way is the holy name, the holy name, the holy name of the Lord. This is from a scripture called. He's falling online here. But that's not the original scripture where this verse comes from. Maybe also, but specifically. Yeah, this is adding to your statement. Okay.
It's not mine.
Huh?
It's not mine.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it came through you at least. We don't have any, everything is Krishna's, we think it's ours, but it's actually just coming through us, whatever we think we've got. What is it? The Brihat Naradiya Purana. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, kalo nasteva, 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 gatiranyata. And Prabhupada comments, he said, this is not from the purport, this is a lecture he gave. No, he said. Questions and answers. Someone's asking, can anyone chant just like that? Yes, they can. If he's saying no. In other words, to attain perfection, no, there's a process. They may chant, he said, but they must understand that the chanting process, that will be more effective. That they must know. What is the process? Chanting is open to all. Anyone can chant. There are no hard and fast rules. But they must know it. That if I chant in the proper process, then it will be effective. It's good for everyone. You can get free from sinful reactions. But the real effect is not that. The real effect is when the heart changes. Cetodarpana margin, purified heart. And that's just step one of the real effect. And then Prabhupada goes on here a little bit. Yeah. Sampadaya vihina ye mantraste nishpalamataha. If one is not actually connected with a bona fide disciplic succession, whatever mantras he chants will not bring the desired result. The desired result being prayojana, not just to remain on the platform of a kanista adhikari or a madhyam adhikari, or a materialistic prakrita bhakta, a materialistic devotee, but to come to the pure platform. Desired result. Prabhupada then said, offenseless, he said. If you want to come to that offenseless platform, he must be properly initiated. It does not mean that he should not be initiated in chant. That's if you want to come to the ultimate goal. That is not the idea. You can, as you say, you can chant, but you won't reach the highest goal. You must be initiated. Either you're a grihasta, sannyasi, brahmachari, whatever. Not that without being initiated, you'll whimsically chant and the effect will be the same. No, you must be initiated. Ado gurvashrayam. You must accept a guru. And Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Go Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. We actually have quite a few of these in the library. Did you know that? I think that's still there. Locked in one, not locked, but stuck in one of the cupboards. They're antiques. They're really antiques. I treasure this book. Very wonderful. Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Please forgive sometimes. You know, as I mentioned earlier on, the changing in paradigms of rights and wrongs, I mean, practically most of us here have become a victim of it. For one reason or another, we've been in a situation, faced with these difficulties, born in a situation, finding oneself in such a situation, no alternative, just like myself, even taking sannyas, the first requirement is you have to have divorce from your previous wife. I had to get a divorce. There's no such thing in Vedic society. It's completely contrary to the principle. But it's a rule that you have to follow for social reasons. Things have changed so much, you're forced to do it, you know. What to do? Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you. So now we'll proceed. If you're still into it. You're still into it? You sure? I haven't changed your mind. I tried pretty hard there to convince. The blessings. Lucinda, you're going to give your blessings today? Okay. Thank you. Okay, well, someone can take this away. Table. And now we come to what's called Namkarna, where the name-giving ceremony. And this is a very, very important part in the devotee's life. Extremely important. And the blessings. The blessings of all the Vaishnavas in front of the devotees, in front of the deities, in front of Srila Prabhupada, and in the temple of the Lord. We're now going to call upon Mihe Prabhu to offer your obeisances. If you come here, offer your obeisances here. And then, if you do a circle, I guess it's okay. You know, normally you go here, then to Prabhupada, then to the deities. Not with you, not with your feet towards the deity, never. Never offer your obeisances with your feet to the deities. You can move this board. You can offer them this way, kind of like this. Okay, like that. This is a higher principle. Right, left is secondary to the one of never having your feet to the deity. When offering obeisances, try to never point your feet toward the deity, never point them towards Srila Prabhupada, as much as possible. Sometimes unavoidable, but as much as we can, especially the deities. Now offer your obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and then to the deities. So Mihe has a very strong love, natural love within his heart for worshipping deities. It's always been there with him. And he hopes in the future, is that right? That if you go to his home, you'll see a beautiful altar in his home in Leicester, or your home in Leicester. And he's very serious. He gets up early in the morning, does he? He did when I was there. Does he do it every day? That wasn't quite so sure. But he's got a lot of pain in his leg and in his foot and everything. He has health challenges, but still every endeavor to get up early, worship the deities, and so on and so forth, and perform his sadhana. And he likes driving also, doesn't he? What else does he like? Not with your feet to the deities. Come over here. I thought you were going to go down again there. It looked like you were going to go down again. Just sit comfortably there. That's nice. What else does he like?
He likes prasada.
Oh, good. Are you a good cook now?
I don't know, getting there. So
Getting there, okay. Take some good lessons from good cooks. Learn how to make chapatis from Amrita. She makes the best chapatis. Huh?
Very good chapati.
First class. She makes good chapatis. Learn how to make them, okay? You got to feed the army on its stomach. You please his stomach, you have no problems. So, Mihai Prabhu, can you tell us what the 4 regulative principles are?
No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex.
Is that good enough?
What other than meat? Meat.
No fish, no eggs, no.
See, he's the spiritual master in the house here. You can see. No fish, no meat, no eggs, no onions,
No onions,
no garlics, okay? And be careful. I'll tell you, be very careful. One devotee just wrote me a letter yesterday. And they have this habit of eating sometimes outside. And they like this one food. They didn't realize it. They just found out there were onions in that food. They're eating it, you know. So be careful.
And no crisps with locust inside.
Crisp with what?
Locusts.
Locust?
Yeah, they say it's vegetarian, but it's not like. Now they planted in America, they feeding the population with locusts.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Better is no crisp at all. Then you're safe. As much as possible, try to avoid that, you know, especially if you can. Sometimes, I know when you're a working man, we're going around here and there. It's not always so easy to guarantee, but be very careful. We only really want to eat food which is offered to Krishna. And you can't offer anything and everything to Krishna, really, speaking properly. So try to be as pure as possible in your eating habits. And how many rounds a day?
Minimum 16 rounds.
Minimum 16. And today is Dwadashi. But on the Kadashi, please try to chant more. Some beads somewhere? Oh, these are the beads. Where's my bead bag? Where's my bead bag?
On the chair.
On the chair. Okay, good. So I'm not going to give you the bead bag, by the way. These beads are very special, I think. Are they from Radhakund? Yeah. Each one of them is engraved very beautifully. So these are from Radhakund in Vrindavan. So you have to keep the real mood of Radhakund, and that's not the mood of Babaji. The real mood of Radhakund is the mood which Prabhupada received from his own spiritual master, that to become a preacher of Krishna consciousness in what you do. You may not be a big book distributor or whatever, but in whatever we do, we try to do it in a way to involve others, to encourage others to become Krishna conscious, sharing what we have with others. So we thought of names beginning with M. He wants to be a Brahmin. He's a little, what do we say, well-built. Huh? Brahminical, likes prasadam. Has a very humorous. He can be quite humorous, huh? Quite jolly. Likes to have a little joke now and again, and a little playful sometimes. So I discussed it also with your temple president, Bajamlin Lester. He thought it was a great idea And I'd like to confirm it with your well wishes. So your name, on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, your name is Madhu Mangal Das. Don't put them there. You can. Madhu Mangal Prabhu Ki Jai. Is that a good name? Madhu? I'm going Madhu. Madhu Mangal, okay? You know who Madhu Mangal is? Who's Madhu Mangal? You're Das, you're the servant. Who is Madhu Mangal? He said sweet. Who is Madhu Mangal? Pardon? Hey, the Gopa! One of Krishna's Gopas, but what is he particularly in his Gopa role? Where's our Gopa Swami? He knows very well. Where's Gopa? Where's Gopa? He's hiding behind the board. Who's Madhu Mangal? You got him down there. What's his name? You have to take him down to your place this afternoon, huh?
Giving blessings, taking sweets, and joking.
Yeah, there you go. You're gonna be a blesser now. Yeah, he Brahmin. Krishna's Brahmin friend, huh? He was a Brahmin. Little, what do they say, chubby Brahmana, and always mischievous, getting this and that. Oh, I love ladus. I hope you like ladus. Madhu Mangal likes ladus. Okay, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Go Premanande. Jai. Haribo. Hare Krishna. So we can take our seats now if the priest hasn't retired. Maybe he's tired.